always tell when a streak's going to come to an end. You win a couple of games, you probably shouldn't.
There are teams out there that could use that quality of playoff goaltending. All right, Ray, you ready to do this?
Yep, let's go.
Powered by Red Media in partnership with TSN, Season 7 of the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast, and it is presented by our title sponsor, Tim Hortons. NHL hockey cards are back with a fresh 234 card collection from Upper Deck. You can find your favorite NHL stars, specialty inserts, rare autograph cards, and you could even uncover golden prize cards for a VIP trip to the 2026 Stanley Cup Final. And if you're really lucky, first time ever, you could win a brand new car. And I don't have many addictions, Ray Ferraro. I don't. I mean, I'm more of a cyclical guy in that when certain things come out, I'm interested. You know, especially when it comes to Tim Hortons. You and I have talked about this. You know, when the old-fashioned donuts come out and things like that. Like there are certain campaigns where I'm in. Well, I'm in with the NHL card promotion, as you know, right? I mean, I like pushing these things to charity. The kids love them. And I wasn't a hockey card collector. I think you were. We've talked about this. As kids, I wasn't.
Yeah,
I really wasn't.
Loved it.
Yeah. So I've already bought 60 packs, and I'm just gonna pile through these. I'm not bragging. I go through the drive-through, I buy another 10 packs. That's what I do. So I've only opened one. I opened the pack last week. And I think I showed you the Bo Horvat, and you guessed immediately that was. But I mean, look at how nice these things are. That's Adam Fox of the New York Rangers.
By the way, the cards we used to collect did not look like that. Those are beautiful. Those are great looking cards. Ours were, they were far more simplistic.
I mean,
loved them.
I don't recall one that, like no special card like a Bobby Orr or anything like that. Nothing like that comes to mind for me, but I guarantee you, I put a handful of really good collector cards in the spokes of my bike.
Sure.
Yeah, just because it sounded cool.
You know what I hope the kids do with the Tim Hortons cards? Honestly, I hope they do what I did. Is like I'd get my team of cards and I'd put them on the floor and I'd play games with the hockey cards. I'm sure kids just go play video games now, but I'd put like my best defense pair together and yet I had a whole bunch of cards. And so if you collect these cards, you get to move people around and make your own trades. I love doing that. It was so fun.
Okay, my friend. So we're recording here this episode of Ray and Dregs Tuesday morning, as we normally would, Tuesdays, Thursdays. You can see us on our YouTube channel. Last night, Game 7 of the ALCS is one of those where were you moments, right? George Springer steps up to the plate for the Toronto Blue Jays and swats a 3-run home run in the 7th inning. And, I mean, we all watched that game wire to wire. It didn't have the feel of a comeback sort of victory for the Blues. At least for me, it didn't. It felt like their bats were quiet. They were a little bit flat. It just didn't seem like there was that moment erupting, and then it did. And you're like, ooh, 6 outs, and we're off to the World Series. I mean, is that kind of how you felt? You're a aficionado more than I am.
I was watching that game, and when Seattle's up 3-1 and their pitchers are doing a really good job, and Toronto can't quite get on track yet. And if you watch, the pitcher for Seattle started to miss a little bit. Wu, the guy that came in relief, and he was missing in the same spot.
Yeah.
If it was a right-handed hitter, he was missing outside. Left-handed hitter, inside. He was missing in the same spot. And when they took him out, it felt like they were at a part of the bullpen, Seattle, they didn't want to get to. Like, that's what it felt like. And in Game 6, Toronto got burned on kind of the same thing. They got to the part of the bullpen they didn't like. And this is why I love playoff baseball. Every pitch, there's a disaster around the corner. In the regular season, there's just so many games. But right now, every hit feels like, or every pitch feels like it could be immense. Now, what I think they should do from a marketing standpoint is before game 1, or maybe before game 3, like when they're in Toronto, is they should have an animation of a private plane coming from LA to Toronto. And
oh, nice.
And when the plane lands, they should get the guy from Shark Tank to step out. Because remember, that's the plane everybody was tracking when they thought it was Ohtani. And then they should have Ohtani hitting like another home run. Like, I don't know. To me, it's like marketing heaven. It's just, it's sitting there. So congratulations to the Blue Jays. And that they look like a fun team, you know, like they look like they're like, you know, like they've got good energy. They've got young guys that have really popped this year, and they got some old dudes that are hanging around and doing a great job. And then the Dodgers are just too good. That's what I think is going to happen. But I love that the World Series will take have an extra page to it this year for us Canadians.
Again, you're a baseball guy, obviously dates back to the Little League World Series. I mean, you just love the sport. Like you love playing, you love watching, everything that goes into it. So in the markets that you played in the National Hockey League, did you ever have a direct connection to the players, to the manager, any of that? And the only reason I ask, and I don't think they'd be PO'd at me mentioning this, it didn't happen for Game 7, but I like Craig Berube, I think Brad Treliving spent a fair bit of time around John Schneider and the staff of the. Why wouldn't you? I mean, you're literally 2 blocks away from each other, and maybe there's something to be learned. Not that that's what you're going into it for, but you're allowed as a hockey coach or manager or star player to be a fan of the team in your own city and maybe a friend of the guy that's running the program.
Yeah, no, I mean, other than just connection through the teams and getting tickets and going in the locker room once in a while and, you know, seeing their setup. I remember when we were in LA and a couple of the Dodgers were there and we were playing in the old form and they came into our locker room and they're like, "Are you kidding me? Like, this is it?" We're like,
it's got to be like we can put 4 players in here. What's wrong with you guys?
Yeah. So like some guys like, you know, like would go to more games. I mean, I had kids and stuff, but Atlanta, I got to get out to batting practice a couple times and stand in a bullpen and watch the guys throw their bullpen sessions. And that was Glavine and Maddox and Smoltz and Millwood. Like that was a great team. And so that stuff was really cool. When I was in New York, went to the Mets a lot. So, but not like getting in and, you know, nobody's wearing each other's jerseys into the locker room. That's for sure.
No, all right. We'll get to the Canadian Brewhouse headlines. Just a quick wrap-up thought. You mentioned Wu. He's being interviewed. How about that blood-curdling scream from inside the Seattle locker room, right? I mean, that was you don't have to be a pro athlete to know what that is. I mean,
it's anguish.
Is just a release of anger.
Well, but here's the thing, and everybody knows it that plays, is just because you got here this year, it doesn't mean you're going to get a chance again next year.
No.
It's so hard. And I really don't think fans quite understand the investment to even just get the chance. Never mind to win. To win is like that's a fantasy, right? So, you know, Cal Raleigh, who hit 60 home runs in the regular season. And, you know, like when that finishes and he screams like that, I think that's him, is like it's everything that had gone and you'd fought for all year. It's just over in an instant, done, finished. And you may never, ever, ever have that season again.
All right,
by the way,
headlines.
Last thing I'll leave this. Don Mattingly, they used to call him Donnie Baseball with the Yankees. He's been around Major League Baseball for 40 years. He's never been to the World Series. He's a Blue Jays bench coach now, and he's going to get to go. Like that's
fun.
That's how hard it is to get anywhere near it.
All right, let's check out the headlines, Ray, brought to us by the Canadian Brewhouse. Hockey lives at the Canadian Brewhouse, and so does the World Series. You can catch every game with beer specials, game day prizes, and more, all at the best hockey house in town, and you know it's going to be jammed for the World Series. See in store or at thecanadianbrewhouse.com for details on what your local brewhouse is up to this hockey season. All right, I'm going to give you a pick here. Where do you want to start? Jonathan Toews gets his first goal, power play goal last night for the Winnipeg Jets. Strong start. Vegas, Colorado, strong start. Canucks are in one. Injuries, what are they going to do? Devils and the Leafs tonight, post the Anthony Stolarz rant on the weekend. We could start there. Oilers and Ottawa. Where do you want to start, Ray?
Let's
pick your poison.
I don't know. Any of them are good. I like the Leafs things is a little juicy, but
okay.
I do want to say, in case we don't get to it, I'm quite impressed that Jonathan Toews has had the start he's had.
Okay.
I just didn't think he would be able to get out of the gates quickly if he was going to be okay. I thought it was going to take him a little bit of time to catch up.
Yeah.
Right. Like he's away for 2 years, and I don't know. The people are so happy that he's back there, that he's back home, and he scores. He's got a couple assists and had a really good start to a Jets team that's done, I think, done just about everything they can to get off to the best start they can, given the people they're missing.
Yeah,
like, that's impressive too. You know, you take Lowry and Perfetti out of that lineup, and they're still rolling along.
Yeah. How does, like, you played for teams and you were in rooms where you have a presence in there, right? Like, and that matters in a big way. I mean, Adam Lowry is a near perfect captain. You know, he embodies leadership in the community, in the room, on the ice, all of that. Heck of a good hockey player. And they've got a good leadership core in Winnipeg. But now I look at, is it a coincidence that Mark Scheifele has 7 goals to this point of the year? I mean, he's a goal scorer, so we shouldn't be shocked by that. But when you've got the presence of Jonathan Toews sifting through the hallways, doing his fair share of media, and then certainly being able to lean on that guy during the intermission or on the bench and all of that, that has to make a difference.
Well, it does if he can play. Otherwise, he's just another coach.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, and so that's where I think it's really impressive. Like, guaranteed those guys at camp were like, wow, have you seen him? He looks good. Because they would have all had questions too. How would they not?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy vanished for 18 months or so. And so I think you look and you go, well, that guy has given us something we just didn't think of. Scheifele's in the prime of his career. Do you think he wants on the Olympic team?
Oh, and is in the
these
conversation,
guys,
deservedly so. Yeah.
Right. And so you get down, there's going to be, I don't know, 12 or 14 guys that are going to be easy picks. And then the last 8 or 10 picks are going to be guys climbing over each other, trying to get there. And Scheifele will be one of them. And this is a hell of a start for him.
Speaking of good starts, what about Vegas and Colorado? Oof. Jack Eichel, contract or extension, whether it matters or not, probably not. I mean, Jack is a superstar in the National Hockey League, but leading the points parade with 16 points. There's Mark Stone with 13 points. Dorofeyev has 7 goals. Marner seems to be a nice fit, and he's just kind of feeling his way through at this stage with the Golden Knights. But surprising to anyone that Vegas, Colorado, Winnipeg are right up there in the top 3.
No, there's been a lot of talk in the last little bit about the tax-free states and their advantages. Yeah. One thing that I think we got to remember here, as you mentioned those teams, there are advantages, certainly, I think, to the tax-free stuff, but a lot of this is cyclical. If you get a core of very good players, quite obviously you're going to be a good team for that run of those players being at the peak of their game. And that's where Vegas is. And Vegas has been, of the teams, has been the most aggressive, right? They go out and they get a new player, whether it was, 3 of them you mentioned, Stone, Eichel, and Marner. They keep going out and getting other players. They went and got Alex Pietrangelo at one point. You try and extend the life of your core of your team. And so that becomes, it is no surprise. They've got the best players. They didn't go away from end of season to training camp. So there are very good teams. Like when Marchessault left, Vegas was pretty comfortable because they felt Dorofeev was ready to pop. And that guy can score. He can shoot.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the goal last night. He
Yes.
dangled, he dangled the old Forsberg move. And that top line is really good. I'm curious about their goaltending and their D, like what that'll be like over the long run. We'll see what Carter Hart has. He's been off for 2 years, and Aiden Hill's battled a little bit of injury stuff, and but then Akira Schmid's 4-0. So I think that's the best. It's certainly the best team in the Pacific. Colorado just keeps steamrolling everybody in the Central. I mean, they're
wild.
They're quite a team.
Yeah. Vancouver Canucks are in one right now. On Sunday they lose Chytil, Lekkerimäki, Teddy Bluger, all hurt now, right? Chytil is in concussion protocol, as we know, man. That young man just cannot catch a break. What is that, 4 now? 4? He's 26 years of age.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the hit, first of all? I mean, Tom Wilson just absolutely crushes him in the neutral zone. It looked a whisker late to me. No penalty on the call, so debatable that there should have been. I guess if I'm saying it's late, it should have been a penalty. Would you agree? What did you see, or was that just bad timing and man caught with his head down by Tom Wilson, who's known for these thunderous hits?
I think several things can be true on the same play, and Chytil gets hit like this because he doesn't seem to be aware of where the danger comes from at times. And he's been hit like this a couple of times. Players don't expect to get hit. Maybe they should, but they don't expect to get hit in the middle of the ice like that.
Right.
That's number 2. Number 3, I love the rule. One of the rule changes that the league has put in, they called that a 5-minute major immediately so they could review it. I think that's a really good rule put in, because so fast the play happens. We get 14 looks at it, the fans and the commentators. The officials should get a second look at it too. And they rescind it all, they can rescind it to 2 minutes or to nothing. They went all the way to nothing. I thought it was late and should have been an interference penalty. I didn't think it was a 5-minute major. Now you can debate the timing of the hit. Like, was it 0.5, 0.6, 0.7 seconds, whatever it was? And if there is a threshold, the league will never say publicly, because let's say it's 0.5.
Yeah.
And the hit's 0.49 seconds late. So that one's okay, but 0.51 isn't. Like that, that doesn't work. And so, they lose Chytil. You mentioned Bluger and Lekkerimäki. They finished the game with 9 forwards, 2 centermen. They limped their way in, and that was their 3rd game in 67 hours.
Yeah.
3 road games with travel, and they won all of them. And I don't know how they did it. In the 3rd period, Demko was awesome. The night before, Lankinen was really good. So now they've got to cobble together a couple of days here. Ratu will jump back in the lineup, but it would seem pretty clear they've got to find another centerman. But where do you find that? Like,
can't.
Who are you calling right now that might have a centerman available? And I don't know the answer.
Yeah. I mean, Patrick Allvin is all over it, but they've been looking for a center. Now, granted, probably looking for a number 2 or a 2A for quite some time. So now you can't be as selective. Would it make sense to look for maybe a guy who's a depth player on a team that's deep up the middle, that you think, okay, well, he's a 3-4. Right now, we just need somebody who has experience and play center ice. And for us, he's going to have to be a number 2. So can he manage? And is there a possibility that he takes advantage of that opportunity? But even in that scenario, Ray, I mean, other clubs and other managers aren't looking to do Patrick Allvin and the Vancouver Canucks a favor. So you're positioned to overpay to even find a player like that.
Yeah, I don't even think that you become that fussy. I think you look for a guy that's a legit NHLer, and even if he's somebody that plays 12 minutes a night, that gives you 12 minutes at center ice a night. Like, you need another centerman. It's so easy to say, well, why didn't they get one in the summer? Well, because there wasn't one available. Why didn't I've used this Doug Armstrong quote, 27 teams are looking for a number 2 center. I've used it before. So now you're looking for a player that might even be in and out of somebody else's lineup that you can plug in to get you 12 minutes a night.
Yeah.
Are they available? Are there somebody in the American League that can do it? Is there a team that might move a centerman? There just doesn't. I don't know how there isn't any, but there doesn't seem to be very many available.
No, I mean, you could look, and I hate doing this kind of stuff because I don't have any inside information when I throw this out there. Like, David Kampf isn't. I don't think he can give you the type of minutes, can he? Like, he's a 3-4 guy on any team.
Okay, but they also have in the American League their number 1 call up is Ty Mueller.
Yeah,
and he's hurt. He's hurt too. Like, they don't even have anybody to call up. So you say David Kampf, and that becomes a name I hadn't thought of. But I'm like, well, he kills penalties. He's never going to score. But you need a centerman.
Yeah.
So what if he becomes your 4th line center, and then if you acquire him for nothing because Toronto would be into that deal?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if he does well, great. And if he doesn't, you put him on waivers.
Yeah.
And
has to be an option that you'd consider. You'd talk about whether you move on it or not. It has to be an option. We'll see.
I would guess you think, because it's a tough spot to be in right now.
Curious CBA move as well, right? So Mancini goes to the American Hockey League, and in the not too olden days, it would have been a paper transaction, right?
You mean last year?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So in the new CBA, he's got to play 1 game in the American League with Abbotsford. And Patrick Galvin talked about this publicly, which is interesting. I'm glad he did, because there's no guessing. Then we all know what happened and what they were trying to do. So they did go to the league and the Players Association looking for, exemption isn't the right word, but maybe a bending of the rule so that they could paper it and he could stay with the NHL club and he wouldn't have to play that game. And the league and the PA said, no, we're not doing that. And in fairness to the league and the Players Association, I think you can appreciate why they would say no. Because if you start that 6-7 games into the regular season, guess what's coming for the next 500 games this season or whatever it is? I mean, it'd be endless. Every club in the league would be looking for the same treatment. They
would. I wonder what's going to happen right around the Olympics in February, when teams are really banged up and there's six of them looking for an exemption. Like, it's bad timing early on, but they ran into a roadblock for sure.
I'll give Patrick credit. You don't know until you ask, and he didn't make a big deal of it. He just said, here's what we tried to do, and here's what the league and the players said, so we have no choice. We've got to move on. Devils and the Maple Leafs tonight, right? As we record here Tuesday. Easton Cowan is a scratch. Oh, Toronto Maple Leafs fans, the kid goes from the top line with Matthews and Matthew Nyes, and now he's a healthy scratch. I mean, this is just management of a young player, and it's going to happen probably a lot this year. It looks like Max Domi will join Matthews and Nyes against the New Jersey Devils. So it's less about the lineup in this conversation of Ray and Driggs and more about what you would expect given what we saw. Like, Anthony Stolarz came into that post-game press conference after losing to the Seattle Kraken in overtime. Hot. I mean, hot. You'll see players snipe at media. This wasn't that. He answered the question, but in answering his questions, he clearly threw his team under the bus for not going to the Seattle net the way that Seattle was allowed to get to him and the Toronto crease, for not defending that crease. Mm-hmm. And then obviously he went after William Nylander on the Mahura goal that ended the game in overtime for not having the steam or not having enough effort to back check appropriately. So then, I don't know, everything's fine. You know, they all have meetings, they talk to each other. Willie and Stolarz clear the air. Is it as simple as that, or are we going to see more piss and vinegar in the game of the Maple Leafs against the Devils?
Well, it becomes fine quickly because the players don't think about this as much as the media talks about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm assuming Stolarz went to Nylander and said, "Hey man, I was just pissed and I lost my stuff in an interview. This is what I said, and sorry, man." And he'd go, "Yeah, all right."
Yeah.
And then he walks on. You get 75 games to play, right? Like the players move on from that way more quickly. At some point, somebody has to notice that Stolarz gets knocked over onto his back about once every 2 games.
Yeah.
Like somebody's got to notice. So if you're not going to have a defense full of Lane Hudsons, then your guys have to be way more firm around the net. Take a couple of cross-checking penalties, like make people aware that this is not a comfortable place to be.
Yeah.
Now, Brandon Carlo is not a mean player. He just isn't.
I thought he had more bite than this, though, to be fair.
No,
you're right.
No, I've watched him play for years in Boston. That's just not how he plays. And so when Stolarz gets knocked over, the only time Carlo really reacts is when Stolarz now flips the net over. Right now, it's pretty clear to everybody, oh boy, we got something rolling here. So I would hope that he realizes, Carlo, okay, I dropped the ball there. I got to be more firm. You don't have to fight. You do not have to fight. But when the guy's there, give him one. Make sure he knows that the next time you come in here, this isn't going to be tolerated. Like you have to protect your net. You just have to. And your goalie should not be, your goalie should not be protecting himself. The other part of this is if the goalie does this more than a little bit, like, popping off like this, which, by the way, he's right on every point. But eventually the players think, hey, why don't you just stop the puck? You worry about your problems, I'll worry about mine.
Yeah.
Right? Like everybody's got their own job to do. But there is, the overtime goal, the guy skated right by Nylander. That can't happen.
Yeah.
It does happen, right? Not just to Nylander. It happens to players all across the league. And it can't happen. And so you would hope that somebody shows Nylander the tablet and goes, see that? Can't happen. But 10 minutes after the game, the guys are still kind of a little bit on edge, and that's the interview you get. I kind of like the interview. To me, that's leadership. It's like, guys, this can't happen. We're better than this. You remember after the first game in Detroit, and Todd McClellan got out there and said, how long are we going to take this?
Yeah.
And he wasn't talking about one game. He was talking about, the last half year that he was in charge and the years prior. And since then, they've won 5 straight.
Yeah. Well, Stolarz, too, did acknowledge that, too, right? Right? Like simply saying, I've got to stop the puck. So it's over at that point.
It's done. It's like everybody's got to do their job. Like if I'm, we started talking about the World Series. If I'm an outfielder, I can't be complaining about the starting pitching. I don't pitch. I got to catch the ball and hit it. So, I might grumble to my teammates, but what am I going to do? Hey, man, that guy's got to get people out. Do you not think he doesn't know that? Of course he knows that.
Sure.
It's his job. We might not be splitting the atoms, but, athletes generally know what they're supposed to do.
All right. We'll wrap up the Canadian Brewhouse headlines with the Oilers in Ottawa. Both teams with, I think it's fair to call, sleepy starts. No reason to panic. No reason at all. I mean, we know the Oilers will be better. Ottawa, all right, they've got some issues that they're dealing with there. But again, in the bigger picture, we need a larger sample size. Evan Bouchard has earned his share of negativity to this point. And
Right.
we think of him mostly as an offensive defenseman, right? He's got 0 points through 6, -5 to this point. I mean, how would you manage this guy? Because you know that there's a ton of upside in him. We've seen it. The body of the work shows us that Evan Bouchard can be a game-breaking defenseman. The problem is right now he's been a game-breaking defenseman with his bad defense. I mean, it just boils down to that.
Well, I'm reminded of my coach in Hartford, Jack Evans, who told me I was a threat at both ends of the ice. And after a 4-point game, and I thought he was giving me a compliment till I realized that he was telling me, hey kid, you got to tighten up a little bit. The game I saw Bouchard play on Long Island was one of the worst 40 minutes I've seen a good player play in a long time. It was really something to watch. He turned the puck over half a dozen times. I don't care what the lead stats say. I don't even know what the hell they're doing. They had him at no giveaways in the first period. in the first shift, he passed one to Kyle Palmieri off of McDavid's skates, and it hit the goalpost. I mean, the problem that I see with Bouchard is the lows are too low. Like it's either an A game or a D game. There's nothing in the middle for him. And if he can dial that in, because you're not going to have an A game all the time, it just doesn't happen. But I look at Bouchard, he doesn't have a point. McDavid hasn't scored in a bunch of games. Those two are linked. Bouchard's an excellent passer, but he's not right now. Their power play is not sharp. They're scoring 2 goals a game, which is not Oiler hockey. Now, of course, they miss Hyman a lot, and they miss Wallman a lot. But they're, they had a good start, and now they've really stumbled around here. So these games become important only in the sense for them of, let's just get ourselves back on the right track, because they're not on the right track right now. It's just, it looks sloppy, and they're trying new players and young players and people in different positions, and it seems a little jumbled up. And they would like, November 1st, they'll get Hyman back, and that will help solidify a lot of things. But it's really odd to watch them so discombobulated.
Yeah, so Ray, you've connected Evan Bouchard, the struggles that he's having. You also, with the fact that McDavid has 0 goals, or hasn't scored in a while anyway. So those two things combined, I mean, that makes sense. But is there anything else in McDavid's game that you're seeing or not seeing?
Well, again, I did the one game live, which is always a different look than when you're watching on TV. But he didn't appear as dangerous as he normally does. And it seems like their attack is disconnected. In the game I watched, he didn't have Draisaitl on his wing except for just a couple of shifts. They played separately. I mean, they're looking for anything. They're not scoring. They're trying to, each guy clearly is capable of running his own line. But I didn't see like a direct attack at a defenseman. It seemed to be more on the outside. His 2 really dangerous chances. One, he took a pass wide, and poor Adam Pelech was trying to keep up with him on the turn. That didn't happen. And McDavid got stymied. But everything's off the edge. There's nothing through the middle. And, I don't know why that would be, but that's what I noticed. It didn't feel like he was as dangerous through the middle of the ice, which is terrifying to teams when he gets going, right? Like when he attacks at the D, the defense has no choice but to back up. They're not going to stand up. They just can't. And so I would say that's maybe a point that I'd look at a little more closely.
So this is just an annual excuse for any team that goes deep into the playoffs. And in this case, back-to-back Stanley Cup finals for the Oilers.
Sure.
Subconsciously, as an athlete, can you look at the marathon in front of you and say, come on, like, you know, we've got 76 games, 75, 70, 60 games of regular season hockey ahead of us. And it is a marathon. So you just kind of roll with the punches until things start to click again.
It doesn't work that way. Because you can tell yourself there's 65 or 70 games left, right? Or 70, which there are. But you always hear about players talking about, I'm pressing, I'm gripping it too tight. So like that's happening. That happens to players even this early in the season. You start the season, if you're a guy that's supposed to provide offense and you go 4, 5, 6 games without a goal, you're pressing. It doesn't matter that there's 70 games left. It doesn't. And so, I mean, logically, they got nothing to worry about. But pretty soon, if it's 2 goals in 15 games, you look at your stats. It's not like you're buried in January. You're like, I got 2 goals in 15 games. Yeah. Like, this sucks. What a terrible start. And so the pressure feels a little different early than it does in the middle of the year, for sure.
All right. Those are your headlines. Thank you to the Canadian Brew House. Moving on to Ask Ray & Dregs Anything, which is a semi-popular item here. Ryan Rishaug joins us at least once a week for Ask Ray & Dregs.
He tells us
send your
it's
questions.
Popular. I don't
know. To X and Instagram at Ray & Dregs, or on the website, rayandregs.com. Ryan, what's going on?
The numbers back it up. Huge spike.
The number of comments that are negative towards you joining this?
No, huge spike in the numbers at the back half of the show. So just the numbers back it up that this is
perfect.
It's growing.
What did Randine tell you that?
Yeah.
Honey, you're doing great. You're doing
great. She needs me confident.
Yeah,
we're going to get to our goggles. We'll get to our Tim Hortons challenge here in a couple of minutes, because I think one of us had a rough week, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But we had some nice submissions here, a couple of them coming in on Twitter. Some Montreal Canadiens content. I'm going to combine 2 here, guys. So from Francis and Gatineau, says the Canadiens have 3 rookies crushing it in the early going. How sustainable are these performances over the long haul of the season? How much drop-off should be expected? Obviously, the goaltender Dobish, Demidov, and Kapanen. Ray, what do you think, expectation-wise, these guys come in, big hot start, and their ability to push it through?
There's a point when guys just aren't young anymore. Like, they're young in age, but they have enough experience under their belt to go, this is sustainable. For Kapanen, and Demidov, they're so young. They've never really had the full season of NHL play. Generally speaking, rookies don't hang at a early season clip. I would caution everybody, when you look at the numbers early in October, they always change come the end of November, because the games get tighter, teams get sharper, chances get fewer. I think those guys are all really good young players. Demidov, I think, has got star written all over him. I was quite impressed in the playoffs last year with Dobish. I hadn't seen him play much, and I'm like, man, he's a big kid, and he covers the net, and he competes. And Montreal's got a lot going right for it right now. Yeah,
I would agree. And I guess I look at the season maybe a bit differently, generally speaking, in that, sure, Montreal expected that they were going to be better. The market demands that they find a way to take that extra step. I don't think that anybody predicted that the individual pieces would fit in as nicely as they have to raise point the younger guys. But I'm more intrigued by what Kent Hughes is going to do next. And it isn't through necessity. I mean, he's openly talked, as Patrick Galvin has, about that elusive forward that they'd like to bring in a number 2 center. But when you look at the prospect pool in Montreal, it's as deep as any team in the league. It really is. So he's in a position of strength, being Kent Hughes. So when the opportunity is right for the right piece, then he's got that and some cap space to work with. So there's, as much as it's impressive on ice, I think off ice, it's going to be a developing story as well.
And to that point, Dregs, we saw the long extensions that they signed in Montreal to Hudson and that. Well, they also signed Jeff Gorton and Kent Hughes to 5-year extensions as well. Yeah. So their plan is going to get some runway here, and it should.
Question about Pavel Dorofeev in Vegas comes to us from Carl in Sweden. Do you think Dorofeev can win the Rocket this year? 35 goals last season without power play 1, and a smoking hot start this season on the top power play unit. Thank you for a great pod, guys. Ray, what do you think the upside is here?
Well, to win that, you're going from 35 to 55 goals, right? Does he have another 20 goals this year? I'm going to say no, that somebody or a few people will be past him, but I don't see why he can't be a 40-goal scorer. That guy can shoot the puck. When you see a guy where the puck just comes off their stick different, it just looks different. You can't maybe quantify it in speed or anything. It just looks different. That guy shoots it. It comes out of his feet like a bullet. Like he is like, I love watching him shoot the puck. And now, the questioner is right. Like, he's going to be on a power play now that's a little bit different. He's going to get more chance to do it. And that line's one of the league's best.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the conversation, deserves to be, obviously. I just think that he's in shark-infested waters here. When you look around the league at some of the top dogs in Colorado, what Eichel is doing in Vegas, and some guys that are off to slow starts. We talked about Edmonton and the Canadian Brewhouse headlines, and McDavid and Kucherov with Tampa Bay. Go down the list. It's possible, but feels unlikely.
All right. This one, Dregs, maybe we can start with you on this. A lot of speculation when the CBA is adjusted, how it's going to affect things at the trade deadline. Cranky Oiler fan on Twitter asks, will the trade deadline, trades in general, be less this season due to the new cap compliance rule for the playoffs? Thanks for the pod. Dregs, now that you're into the season and starting to make some of those calls, getting a feel for what teams may or may not be up to, are you hearing much about the changes and how it might affect things?
No, it's too early for that. And it's only because, we're not even 10 games into the regular season. I think when you get past U.S. Thanksgiving and you're getting closer to Christmas, now you've got a real big sample size, and clubs know what they have and also what they need. But isn't it normally in the second half of the regular season where these near disastrous injuries occur, and that's where the shenanigans start, or used to start, and now you can still do it, you just don't get full compliance for those who don't understand the process. If a $10 million player is wiped off the map, but is questionable to come back for the playoffs, the only way you get full salary relief, cap relief, is if that player is done for the year, including the playoffs. Otherwise, there's still a cap hit. So I think it'll be more relevant, obviously, as we get into the second half.
Now, I read something that I had never even considered. What if you're a team that has a $4 million backup and you get to the playoffs and you go to him and say, you know what, we're going to dress $700,000 third goalie from the American League. Right? Yeah. Like there's going to be some interesting conversations around that.
But aren't you okay with that? Aren't you okay with that, Ray? I mean, you've talked about this when we were just forecasting what a new CBA would look like, and the fact that there needed to be some governing over the playoffs.
I love that the cap has to like the cap total fits in the playoffs for your game roster. What I never thought of is that they could go to a player and go, "Oh yeah, by the way, you're not on the roster for today's game." And if you're the goalie, that might be every game. You don't need a $4 million guy sitting there in a bell hat. Put me back
until
there. What the hell's the
until
difference?
your starter gets nuked in the first minute of the first period. Then you've got a problem.
You got a kid over there pooping his pants, and he's like, "Oh God, I gotta go in."
Yeah, I don't know. That'll be an interesting gamble for some teams to take. It'll really increase the value of the veteran netminder on the low dollar deal. Like I'm thinking about Cal Pickard here in Edmonton, right? At $1 million, and look what he did when he went in. The guy like that would be hugely valuable for a team to have some confidence sitting at the end of the bench at not too big a price tag. All right. Last one comes to us from our friend Brian Mudrick at Brian Mudrick, of course, the Montreal Canadiens, asks, what did Ray shoot at Royal Birkdale? And then he sends the emoji with the sunglasses. So I don't know if there's a little inside joke there, Ray, but Muddy's wondering about the golf game.
Muddy, as you may or may not know, people, is completely addicted to golf, as I am. He will go anywhere to play it, and play it in almost any weather. He was over in Liverpool this year, in England, and he played there. And he's a little early. I'm going next summer, so I do not have a score for him. I did squeeze in 53 rounds this summer, and so I'm a little down with the weather. That like there's no golf right now, but soon again it will be golf season.
There should be a side bet here, though. Right? I mean, what did Muddy shoot? Let's make that public. What did he shoot there? And maybe you can better it, and there can be a bit of a side bet.
I will
might be able to find him on the Golf Canada app here.
Yeah, but I will be taking the shots that he owes me if we're playing. Yeah, because he's really good.
He's a good player.
He's really good.
Last time I was creeping on his Golf Canada stuff, I think he was like a 2 or a 3 or something.
Yeah, no, it's legit. Yeah, he's legit.
There's Muddy's concerned with 4 things as we turn this into a debate of his life. His golf game, his dog, loves his dog, red wine, and the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
Oh, 5, clothing. Yeah, those are we've pretty well supported Muddy's life right there in 30 seconds.
There you go. I was working at CFRN television in Edmonton 20-some years ago. We hired Brian Mudrick out of Winnipeg. And the day he came walking into the station, he comes walking right through the lobby. He has this head-to-toe length cream-colored trench coat that was just such a dramatic color, only matched by, it was the exact same color as the highlights in his hair. Here comes Brian Mudrick, folks, to CTV Edmonton doing weekend sports. And he came in like just a bolt of lightning into that place. Anyways, thanks for the contribution, Muddy.
So,
all right,
Muddy,
guys,
you want to ask a question? Hey, Muddy, you want to ask a question, dude?
Yeah, that's what you get.
There you go. Yeah, that'll serve you right. He probably just saw our request for questions and was like, "Oh, I'll throw this in," and then he gets torched for 2 minutes on the pod. All right, let's bring in Zuby because someone had a rough week on the old Tim's Challenge this week. Zuby, somebody was 0 on our last show day.
Yeah, do you want to start there? I was going to give the props first, but if we want to tear somebody down before we build the others up,
start tearing down. Go ahead.
Well, Dregs, of course, who had jumped out to a seemingly insurmountable lead, went 0 for 3 last week, last show date. Kyle Connor, Evander Kane, Gabe Vilardi letting him down. Dregs, I was let down that day as well, and another, not Kyle Connor, but another Connor McDavid let me down on that day. So I'm with you. So Dregs leveling off a bit here. He's tied
3
for
for
the
9
lead now, going 3 for 9 with 75 points.
That was a really good chirp, Zuby. Well done.
Shoggers joined him in the 3 for 9 category here as Brock Besser hit for Schogger on the 16th. So he's 3 for 9 with 75 points. And Ray Ryan Donato coming through for Ray. Elias Pettersson, Yanni Gord, not so much, but Ray got one, 25 points there. So he's up to 2 for 9, 50 points. Wow. It's razor thin here, fellas. This is going to get exciting as the season goes on.
Yeah, this is early though. And by the way, I flew in a couple extra days there. I got a 4-day streak going here. So, I mean, just giving myself a few props. I know they don't count, but anyway, I will catch up.
Oh, yes, you will.
How's the main account doing, Zuby? How you doing as we compete against the world?
Yeah, that's
The
so
world.
good. That's not so good, Al. It's I do have 5 correct answers and 125 points total, but it's a little bit different to keep the numbers of what I've got a 13% win rate. I've got I have a snowflake next to the name right
you're
now,
cold.
which is not good. I'm
Pick
cold.
it up. Pick it up.
But I think it's going to happen. I think one of these where Dregs had 2 on one night. I need one of those. I'm looking at these guys in first place. Mudgy in first place of the whole thing. He's got 19 right, a 49% pick rate on the standings.
Impressive.
Holy smokes.
Ours,
So you really suck, Zuby. Is
That's
what
correct.
We're reading.
Pretty much,
you
yeah.
really suck. Yeah.
Ray Dregs Podcast is the name of the account, and as far as the rankings, it's 6 figures, fellas. I'm sorry to say, as far as what position.
Pick it up, Zuby. Let's get her going.
6 figures.
And a reminder that it's a chance to win daily and monthly prizes for picking players who you think will score, plus a chance to win a Hyundai Tucson season-ending grand prize. And Canadians can also try and keep a 7-day streak alive and win free coffee or tea for a week. So Ray is well on his way towards that. Ray, 2 things real quick. One, what is on your wrist? Are you heading down to the gym for some boxing, or like what do you got going on there, bud?
Actually, I've got a ligament issue. I mean, I am going to the gym as soon as we finish this gobbledygook here that we're doing. So it's and it's called KT tape. It keeps everything tight so my wrist doesn't fall apart till I can get it looked at. I had to put it off through golf season, so now I'm in the spot where I can get it looked at.
There you go. Well, we don't do a play of the day here on the show, Dregs, but if we did, it would be the vision we all got in our heads of a 6-year-old Ray Ferraro with his hockey cards laid out on the floor, playing the original EA Sports NHL hockey game back in 1947 or whatever year that was back in the day, right? Were you doing play-by-play too? Were you doing play-by-play out loud?
I always announce the games. Always. By the way, my mom and dad told me that. I don't remember it, but two winters we had a little rink in the backyard. And apparently before I started the game, which was only me on the rink, right? I would stand there and sing the national anthem, and they'd look out the kitchen window and they'd be like, holy man, this guy's in.
Buddy. It was destiny. You made both happen.
Yeah.
You made both
There
happen.
has to be some home video back in the day of that floating around.
Wouldn't that be something? Oh my God.
Hey, Ray, see you later, buddy.
Yep.
So clearly by the wallpaper, and those who follow us on Ray and Greg's YouTube channel are used to that Boston paper.
Yeah.
You got a busy
tonight.
week. Yeah.
Brad Marchand's return to Boston. I'm sure there'll be some, the video will be awesome and all that stuff. And he's going to be annoying tonight. And I should.
But he played it so perfectly, didn't he? Like, what's the best part of Boston? The fans. Of course. I mean, and he means it. I'm not saying that he's saying it tongue in cheek, but he's not setting himself up for something negative here tonight.
No, it's going to be a weird night for a lot of people watching him in that other jersey. And then I'm off to Dallas tomorrow for the Kings in Dallas on Thursday.
Good deal. All right. Well, we'll reconnect for another edition of Ray and
What
Dregs
do you got next couple of days? Anything?
Yeah, just kind of midweek busy stuff, right? We've got the Leafs and the Devils on the network tonight. So that's and I've got to hustle. We're a little tardy with the podcast this morning because I've got an early insider trading on tsn.ca. So kind of jamming me up.
Bring the goods. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you to our sponsors, Ray, who continue to support the Ray and Dregs pod. Our title sponsor, Tim Hortons, thank you. And thank you to the Canadian Brewhouse. Until next time, stay safe, everybody.